when you were working endlessly, me and Carl had some time and we really did develop a bromance. I was like, what a shame that we let this Rosaline get in the way of our good time.
Shall we?
Whatever.
Have a good time.
What's something new you feel like you guys brought to Romeo and Juliet that we've yet to see before? Because, you know, obviously it's such a character that's been played so many times.
Well, I think we get to see them outside of the relationship that we normally see them in, outside of the settings that we normally see them in. I think it's important to do that with these love stories and these female characters that we know to be kind of one-dimensional and kind of motivated by love, as opposed to motivated by, you know, the self-seeking kind of tendencies. So I think, you know, we get to see Juliet find herself in a way, and then at the end realize, you know, what she actually wants.
They didn't teach that in school.
Wait till you get to page 74.
What about you, Kyle?
I think that Romeo is seldom played as ridiculous as he is. And I think I got to sort of show up and be about as ridiculous as Romeo actually is. I think he's clueless, and I really got to play into that.
I never saw true beauty until this night.
Why are you talking like that?
What drew me to the script was that it's very much kind of a coming-of-age story of a young woman really finding her voice. And, you know, she thinks at the beginning of the film that she's, you know, already found it, and that she's sort of railing against all these pressures that are put upon her as kind of an open-minded woman in a very closed-minded world, which was Renaissance, at least in terms of how women were treated.
I'd rather eat rotten goat innards.
Rosaline.
I don't want an arranged marriage.
You're a woman. You're not supposed to talk about what you want.
I'm drawn to projects where women, you know, feel like women I know or feel like myself. And I feel like Rosaline could easily be me. And she's very stubborn and headstrong in the beginning and thinks she knows everything. And then, you know, her world is kind of exploded open, and she, at the end, you know, finds what she needs. And I just think that's a classic story, really beautiful, that anyone can relate to at any age in their life, and any gender.
Star-crossed lovers that couldn't live apart. That's pretty good.
What classic, like, Romeo and Juliet moment was, like, the most fun for you to put a twist on?
I mean, I guess even starting with the opening, I mean, this obviously isn't a part of the original Romeo and Juliet, but it's sort of, the audience kind of first thinks, oh, you see this woman on a balcony, she's calling Romeo, who is this woman? And I think that was a really fun little moment to sort of like trick the audience into thinking that this is a Romeo and Juliet story.
Yeah, it's adjacent, isn't it? It's like, it is the same, but it's not.
Right.
By yonder blessed moon, I vow I shall speak.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you okay?
No.
Solely in a selfish way, because it was a fun day filming it, but the death scene.
Oh, yes.
We put our spin on it, and the death scene in the movie was just great.
It
was all of us together in this big, beautiful church, and we just laughed for 2 days, actually, as you said. So that was, for me, that was it. Because actually, the rest of my story doesn't involve Romeo and Juliet at all. So I didn't put a spin on Romeo or Juliet at all.
Definitely the scene at the end where we believe the lovers are dead in the crypt, and in our story they're not actually dead, was very difficult to do, because you do have grieving parents, but you also have this comedic moment of, you know, Rosaline looking at Juliet, telling her to pretend to stay dead, and looking at me to try and, whilst also Kaitlyn's character, Rosaline, has this wonderful moment where she really gets to speak to the two warring houses and say, pull yourselves together, why are you always fighting? So I think it's my favorite scene, because it's this wonderful coming together, it's artful, it's really well written, and I think it's very well acted.
They couldn't live in peace. At least let them rest in it.
I don't know if you have one. I really loved when I'm kind of just sitting in my room and Rosaline surprises me, and then you hear Romeo outside throwing rocks at my window and going like,
Juliet.
And I'm like, I don't know what, I gotta get rid of him. And so seeing that kind of similar setting that we're used to seeing, but then a completely different backstory as to how it goes down is really incredible to me and refreshing, and it's funny because she's getting her lines from Rosaline, which Romeo has no clue.
I got this feeling on the summer day when you were gone.
So you're gonna break them up?
Of course I am. Romeo and Juliet. Doesn't even sound right.
I absolutely love the soundtrack and the things you got to do with them. I was wondering how fun it was to work with those modern songs in a classic setting.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I wanted the music to really encapsulate that anachronistic feeling between old and new that's present in the film. So we took, songs from all recent decades and put a sort of old Renaissance spin on them by using period instrumentation that we actually recorded, lutes, flutes, harpsichord, harp, organ, all sorts of things to give it a kind of older feel, but obviously still recognizable and modern, which is what the general, film is going for in general. So it was really fun to do a Renaissance cover of Dancing on My Own by Robert. I mean, that was, it's a dream. So we did that with so many other songs. I think it's really great.
I just wonder if all this drama is adding to the attraction.
Kind of in honor of this film, is there any side character from one of your other movies or personal favorite movies that you'd like to see explored from another perspective after watching this film?
Great question.
Okay.
That's going to be tough.
I got it already.
You got it already? Go.
So Booksmart. I think seeing Noah Galvin and exploring his perspective would be a dream come true. I mean, his character is George is just iconic, and I'd love to see a George film.
I will be directing, and Alan may be starring pending auditions.
He is fantastic, and that whole film is amazing. That character is so good.
Yeah.
Well, what other side characters would be like? I mean, I'm sure there's some side characters in Superbad that had just flashes of being in it that were great. I'm blanking completely on any movie I've ever seen, obviously, because you just asked that question.
My pick for you was Billy Lord, so perfect. I'm so happy.
That's what my next thing. I was gonna say maybe Billy Lord would be an amazing, and she's also iconic in that.
No!
Both. Honestly, both of them. They could be in the movie together.
Let's talk to Hulu.
All right.
Well, I seriously, Lorraine Finster on Will and Grace needed her own spin-off, for sure. I would like to see her in lots of different shows.
I wouldn't dream of not being here.
I also love the character that I play on Starstruck, which, funnily enough, Karen Maine directed. I play a really terrible agent, and I would really like her to be in something else.
I should fire you.
Oh, you're not gonna fire me. I Star is Born you.
There's a few. I mean, yeah, God, I could go on. And on. I love the character in Big Night. I want to know what happened to her. 50s girl on the Jersey Shore, just treated badly by Stanley Tucci. I don't know. Maybe every supporting character I've played, I'd love to know what happened to them.
I want to explore Steve the Courier from this film. I want him to have his own movie in the sequel because he's just incredible and probably my favorite character in this movie.
Yeah, 100%.
I think it was discussed at length on set that I would love for there to be a spin-off romance between Romeo and Dario, because I just feel like everyone can fall in love with Dario, and Romeo falls in love with everyone. So I think it'd be a great story. I think they'd have a great bromance.
That could be fun.
I would love that. We got so excited when we saw each other on set. We were like, we actually have a moment to actually do something. And we'd spent the whole summer together. We did a lot of historical tours together. We spent a lot of time just riffing, because being around Carl is a day very well spent, as you know. I mean, with anyone. But me and Carl had a lot of, when you were working endlessly, me and Carl had some time, and we really did develop a bromance. So I was like, what a shame that we let this Rosaline get in the way of our good time. So I would happily do a spin-off as long as we could do some more too. I would have a spin-off. We have one moment at the end of the movie where he tries to speak to me.
That moment is so good. I really am glad they kept that in.
Yeah.
It was so good.
And it's the most that we got, and it's the only thing we get, and it's quite special to both of us. So I'd love to do that with Carl. Anything with Carl would be great.
Okay, buddy.
I'm so excited to see Kyle as He-Man and Isabela in the Spider-Verse. I was wondering what your reactions were getting to be part of these upcoming high-profile projects.
Kyle?
Over. I'd love to know, Isabela, how excited you are.
Excited. I am excited. Very excited. So I like the Spider-Verse. I just, discovered the Miles Morales game on the PS4. So that's very fun. I hope there's a Madam Web game too. They're very, very excited to see this universe kind of play out, as one might say, suspiciously.
Well, that was awkward.